webinar, Contract Management 101. My name is Anu Shah and I will be your moderator today. Joining us today are Chayla McDevitt and John LaPalamento. Chayla is a Corporate Solutions Manager on CSC's Corporate Legal Solutions team, and she's been with CSC for over 10 years. John is a corporate consultant on CSC's Product Engineering and Business Development team. He has been with CSC for over 5 years. And with that, I welcome Chayla and John.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody, and good morning to the West Coast.
Yes, thank you, everyone, for joining us for Contract Management 101. John and I have the pleasure of presenting today live from our headquarters in Wilmington, Delaware. As Anu mentioned, I'm a Corporate Solutions Manager here with CSC, working with existing customers to put different services into place. John is in a similar role. He's on our Product Engineering and Business Development team. And again, we just want to thank you for joining us. We do want to make this an interactive session, so we are going to get started with some questions for you. Real quick, what we're going to cover today is contract management challenges, pain points on productivity and risk analysis. We're going to introduce the CSC contract management solution, the New York Law Journal reader rankings on different matter management products, also what's included with CSC, and then best practices for implementation will be right at the end. And we know that's a sticking point for a lot of companies where they know they need a contract management solution, but they don't necessarily have the time to implement. So please stick around for the end where we will cover that. All right, so the first question for today is, how many contracts are you currently managing? Okay, great. Thank you for everybody for answering that question. Looks like we have a mix of different contract levels today. Some people managing over 1,000, some people more, in the 100 to 500 range. So we appreciate that feedback from everyone.
It's certainly valuable for everybody, regardless of the volume of contracts that you're managing, to have a strong contract management system in place. And we're going to show you today not only best practices and some industry standards when it comes to managing your contracts, be it few or many, but we'll be happy to show you the solutions that we bring to the market as well. So everybody who filled out that answer, you're going to truly get some value out of today.
Thank you, John. So what is contract management? Contract management is the workflow and information processes allowing companies to make informed decisions and access real-time information related to the contracts that the company needs to operate. And with that, how are contracts managed? You may have something that looks like this, and ideally would like to get it into a more organized and digital solution. According to a recent survey, companies use manual processes to manage so many contracts they have problems finding needed documents. A majority of companies surveyed admit that they have lost 10% or more of their contracts. The inefficient processes that companies use to manage contracts cause problems with visibility, risk management, loss of revenue, and increased costs. So if you know that there are gaps in your contract management and storage process, you are not alone. Challenges include no formal process, paper filing for contract storage, process is too slow, lacks adequate visibility, and risk of error and missed deadlines. So we'll start with some challenges and then we'll get into the solutions. First challenge being a reactive versus a proactive process. A contract management solution can provide insight to a company's revenue, finances, and even vulnerabilities. When there's no formal process, it can become a barrier.
One of the big reactive challenges that we see all the time, and I hear it from prospects who are vetting our system all the time, is that they find themselves scrambling at the last minute, be that prior to an expiration date, prior to a date of deadline around a contract itself. And certainly a good contract management system is going to take that reaction and that really last minute, 11th hour effort and make that a part of an organized workflow.
Thank you, John. We also hear a problem all the time is that the contracts aren't centralized. They're not in all one place. It's unclear as to who's working on what when, who's managing what. Of course, is a problem, especially with contracts, because there might be multiple departments that play a part in the life cycle of that contract, whether it's legal, business development, IT, sales, research and development, finance, procurement, and then, of course, outside vendors. There can also be difficulties because there's multiple types of contracts: non-disclosure agreements, confidentiality, master service agreements, proposals, etc. And then with the various different departments and various types of contracts, there may also be various different communication methods: shared folders, email, and even paper. The ideal contract management solution would provide a collaboration and communication tool and also a means for data and document storage. Within that, each user would have permission-based roles, meaning they would only see what they need to see for security purposes. There would be cross-group collaboration, email integration to speed up the process, and easily accessible contact information.
I think it's really important to highlight here. I speak with so many people who come into viewing contract management thinking about it as document management. And certainly as we're about to change the slide to data and document specifics, that document management piece is tremendously needed when it comes to managing contracts, but that collaboration and communication piece cannot be ignored.
Thank you, John. And within that, it's nice to have tasks for key dates, notes for a quick and easy reference point, reporting for oversight, and an audit trail to know who did what and when. Another challenge is poor tracking of key dates and deadlines, and that goes without saying when dealing with contracts just how important that could be. So an ideal solution is going to have tasks for those key dates with alerts, email integration again to speed up the process, and audit of changes in real-time data access. And we have another question for the attendees today. How frequently do you spend unneeded time searching for a specific document? Okay, thank you everyone. And right along that lines, we'd like to ask everyone how they're currently managing their contracts. Is it Excel spreadsheets, shared folders and email, might be a mix, or using a specific contract management application? All right, thank you. It looks like the majority of attendees on the call today are using shared folders and email. So thank you, but there's also a mix with some using spreadsheets and having no formal process in place. Okay. All right, so back to the challenges and solutions, and we do appreciate everyone being an active participant in the webinar. So another challenge, of course, with document management, and that's why we asked the question on, do you ever spend unneeded time searching for a document? And every time I posted this webinar, which has been for the past few years, always it's the most popular answer, more than I care to admit. So again, if that was your answer, you're not alone. It can be difficult when you're using shared folders and email to find a final document, all related documents, what version you're on. There may be more than one person working on it, and if things aren't all in the same place, it can be a very time-consuming process. It can also be difficult if you don't have the right solution that holds all the different type of documents that you're working with. As an example, in a benchmark in the industry, CSC uses Documentum, and we hold over 200 different types of file documents. So if you're looking into a solution, that's a good question to ask. Also good to find a solution that allows for document versioning so you can know who's been working on what and when and don't duplicate efforts. Have a checklist with notes and task functionality. And of course, everything have the ability to be searchable, reportable, and auditable.
You know, I see that as truly one of the biggest problems. And for those of you who selected more time than you would like to admit in terms of finding documents, you might even have a decent organization in terms of finding a specific document, but when you have to find multiple that fit certain criteria, how easily can you do that? Do you have a system for searching through the information about your documents and making that simple? And I think that falls right in line with some of those pieces.
Very true. Other challenges include continuous need for communication with the contract review, especially when there's no standard workflow, no standard language for routine contracts. This is something that I recently read about a company that had inadvertently deleted a limitation of liability clause, and that particular document was saved and was accidentally used with people unknowing that that particular part had been deleted, and it was used over 100 times. So you can imagine, you know, that was really not at all what they wanted to do, and could have really been a huge problem for them. A solution for the challenges that we just discussed, a contract management system that formalizes a workflow, and that doesn't mean to say that everyone should have the same workflow. CSC really likes to customize an approach so that it fits your specific needs. So a formalized workflow customized to your needs, a central place to organize and store contract templates that prevents problems, like I mentioned with the limitation of liability clause being deleted, each user having specific roles and permission sets, and this all being in a secure system. CSC, with all of our solutions, we take security very seriously here. We go through a third-party audit every year, and we do have the SOC 2 Type 2 certification. Okay. Another challenge is searching for data can be an all-day task. This is something to think about when thinking about implementing a solution, is how you'd want to be able to search for things and finding something that allows you to search in various different ways. By date, who worked on it last, metadata like a contract name, even things as granular as text within a contract, like a word or a phrase. Another challenge is that a lot of organizations are dealing with more and more contracts. It's a growing data and documents that they need to take care of. And that goes without saying that it's becoming more important. Contracts are a necessity. A solution is a contract management application that has flexible formatting, so it captures the data that you specifically want to see and report on later, and also allows that to be scalable so that as your needs change, you can capture different type of data for different contracts. And of course, that all being reportable.
Of course, right now we're highlighting some of the benefits and the features that you should be seeing from any decent contract management solution. And pretty soon we'll be turning the page to look more specifically about the services and strengths that the CSC contract management solution is going to bring. And I would really like everybody to pay attention to some of the pieces that are being mentioned here, especially the flexibility of taking your data and managing your data in a system in a flexible, manageable way. Scalability is one of the true hallmarks of our system. We work with clients, and just like that first poll question that you had answered, we work with clients with a relatively small amount of contracts, and they may think it's quite a bit to manage, but in terms of the importance of those contracts, they're paramount that things are managed properly. We also work with clients who have thousands upon thousands of contracts, and we'll give them a manageable way to understand. But our system is going to be scalable. It is going to be able to report against all of the data that's captured in the system and certainly alert you of important happenings. So definitely this page, in my eyes, is very valuable because not only is this what every contract management should provide, but it's certainly some of the highlights of the CSC solution.
Thank you, John. That's an excellent transition to what does CSC contract management provide? A formalized workflow based on your specific needs, a scalable solution, a central repository, improved visibility through reporting and tracking of key dates, email integration to speed up an existing process that may be too slow, real-time collaboration across departments and different users with role-based permission sets, and security. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to John so we can put a visual with everything we just discussed, and he's going to demonstrate and actually show you how the CSC contract management solution works.
Very good. Well, again, I want to thank everybody for their time today. And now, Chayla, thank you so much for taking us through that
Thank you, John. That was wonderful demonstration, and we appreciate everyone for sticking with us through this presentation. Real quick, we wanted to just present to you why to use CSC. We have been ranked for the past, John, is it 3 years, 4 years? 4 years, the #1 matter management solution with the New York Law Journal, and that's an independent survey that they conduct with their readers over various different legal services. The CSC contract management solution is the same as our matter management. It's just customized for your contract needs. And if you have any questions about that, we'd be happy to send you the full results of the survey. Also in the handout today is our security and availability statement and the slides if you need those for your records. I promised at the beginning of the session that I would go over implementation options because I work with existing customers. A lot of them will tell me that they know they need a contract management solution, but they just don't have time to implement it because they have so many contracts already. So I wanted to review 2 options that we have found to be successful. The first is that CSC can help you with importing your existing contracts. We just ask for a sample of the data if it's an Excel spreadsheet, as an example. We take that, we would look at it, and we would provide you a quote for just a one-time service fee to import all of the existing records. We also have seen a lot of companies be successful with just starting fresh. So starting with the CSC solution, entering new contracts at their inception. And both methods have been implemented successfully across numerous different legal departments. Also, something to consider, and also just to explain the differences in technology. There are providers out there that offer an installed software. Now, CSC is a cloud-based or web-based solution, and there are some significant differences. An installed software requires IT involvement, which takes up their resources. Access may be restricted to a specific computer or device. Often there's extra fees for additional users, data restrictions, and as technology advances, there may be additional fees for enhancements and also more IT resources that need to help with that IT or that installation. A cloud-based solution like CSC doesn't require IT involvement. You may want to have IT talk with us and talk about security, and that's fine. We're happy to do that, but it doesn't necessarily take up any more resources than that. A cloud-based solution can be accessed anywhere where there's a secure internet and you have your login and password. There's also less restrictions on users and documents. In fact, with the way we price our contract management solution, you can have unlimited users at no additional fees and also unlimited documents. And enhancements happen automatically without having to pay for it or getting that IT involvement. To summarize everything we discussed today in Contract Management 101, we recommend starting with the basics, getting all your contracts in one place, have a way to extract Q&A session. Also, if you didn't get to your question, we will contact you with a response after the webinar. Thank you to everyone who joined us today. We hope to see you next time.